Hi students, welcome back 10th class. Today I'll continue with acid, base and salt. In my previous video I have explained you about the physical properties of acid, base and the indicators. Today I'll discuss with chemical properties of acid and few questions which are related to acid and base, and chemical properties of base and pH scale I will discuss in my later video. Clear? Ready? Shall I start? Now, chemical already have explained in my previous video that what actually the acid and base. Acid which releases H positive ions in aqueous solution when electricity is passed, then hydrogen ions when it is releasing, that means it is an acid. Base, if it is releasing OH ions in aqueous solution, then it is known as base. Right? Physical properties and all clear to you, and indicators are also there. Today I'll discuss a few questions after this my chemical properties related to the acid and base. Okay, I'm starting. Now come, what is the chemical properties? The first property of an acid is acid conducts electricity. Acid conducts electricity. Why it is conducting electricity? Because acid, on passing current, it will release H positive ions. The aqueous solution of an acid releases H positive ions which conducts electricity. Clear? Second point, acid when reacts with metal, it forms salt plus hydrogen gas. Now the standard reaction, this is the second property, acid when reacts with metal, then salt plus hydrogen gas is released with pop-up sound. These are the standard reaction. If you are only this much you have learned, all the reactions you can able to frame it yourself. Right? Now suppose if I am talking about, there are three main acids which we are going to discuss, and these are the acids which we are mostly using in the laboratory, that is hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid H2SO4 and nitric acid, that is HNO3. Now suppose if I am talking about H2SO4, this is an acid H2SO4 when reacts with metal. Suppose if I am saying zinc, right? Dilute, we will take always dilute, that means the water content is more than that of an acid. So if we take dilute H2SO4 plus zinc, that is aqueous solution plus zinc, we get what? ZnSO4, that is the salt, plus hydrogen gas will release with the pop-up sound. It burns with the pop-up sound. Pop, pop, the sound is like this. So this is the standard reaction, student. This is what? The reaction in chemical form. This is the standard. Now suppose if I say HCl, dilute HCl if I am taking, plus if I say Na, sodium, it is reacting with metal with acid. Then what will happen? First, simply you will release your hydrogen gas, that is H2, and left out is NaCl, so it will be NaCl. You can frame it yourself, right? Next, suppose if another example is H2SO4 plus if I say Pb, lead sulfate. Hydrogen, simply you release hydrogen. This is standard reaction. You know that salt and hydrogen will definitely form. Nothing to do in it. See, plus hydrogen gas and the salt PbSO4, Pb valency 2, SO4 2. I have already explained you how to make the chemical formula in one of the videos, right? So P2 cancel, it will become PbSO4, lead sulfate. This is the salt again. So this is how you can use any of the metal here, and what can react with any dilute acid, it forms a salt plus hydrogen. There is one activity in your book related to this topic only. This is the activity. I think it is figure number 2.1 activity is there. Now what we will take? We will take a test tube. We will take a what? Bucket with soap solution, the glass tumbler which contains a soap solution. Now what we will take here? Dilute H2SO4. This reaction I am explaining here. And zinc granules. We will not take pieces. It will take a lot of time for the reaction. We will take granules so that to increase the surface area and the reaction could be easier. Board question, why we take zinc granules instead of zinc pieces? Because zinc granules increases the surface area and the reaction could be faster in the laboratory. Yes, student? Now come. We will take zinc granules over here and after some time what will we see? It will react. And the gas which is releasing from here is, these are the bubble form because hydrogen gas is lighter than air. So it will release out, rises up than the what? Air. And this is the soap solution so that the bubbles which are lighter can rises up. That means which gas is released? Hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas, and what is left out here? Zinc sulfate. Zinc sulfate. Zn plus H2SO4. Hydrogen gas will release and ZnSO4 will left behind after the reaction. Now, if we bring one lighted candle near these bubbles, what will we see? That candle will, what? It will burn with a pop-up sound. That candle will continue burn. That means hydrogen gas is supporter of combustion. And pop-up, the sound of pop-up sound will really come. That proves that hydrogen gas is released. Question, how will you test the hydrogen gas? Of 2 marks question. Right? If the hydrogen gas is released and we bring the lighted matchstick or the candle near that gas, it will burn with a pop-up sound. Clear? So this is the experiment and these are the reactions. Now next, second reaction is third. Now this is the third. First conducts electricity. Second dilute with metal, dilutes acid plus metal gives salt plus hydrogen. Third reaction, the acid. And acid reacts with metal oxide to form, now oxygen entered, so salt instead of hydrogen it will release water because water oxygen enters with the metal oxide. But this is the standard reaction. Whenever an acid reacts with metal oxide, then definitely it will form salt plus water. Now suppose if I take again dilute H2SO4, always we will take aqueous solution for any of the reaction. Next, plus metal oxide, suppose if I take Na2O, this is sodium oxide. Sodium oxide, simply will release water, oxygen and H2O. What will left? Sodium sulfate, that is Na2SO4 plus. So H2SO4 reacts with metal oxide, that is sodium oxide, to form sodium sulfate plus water. Yes, another example if I say an HCl, dilute HCl plus MgO, this is magnesium oxide, say metal oxide, right? What it will form? You will release water first and Mg, now here it is chlorine, so Cl2, MgCl2 plus water. Simple, so only you have to what? Keep in your mind these standard reaction, automatically you can frame these reactions. Now come to fourth reaction. Fourth reaction come. Now what happens fourth? When an acid reacts with metal carbonate, CO3, metal carbonate positive and negative, it will form salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. This is the standard reaction. Students, in chemical reaction also I have told you, whenever there is carbonate, definitely the carbon dioxide gas will definitely release. Keep always in your mind, whenever there is carbonate, carbon dioxide gas will release. Now, if CO2, suppose CO2 released, right? One oxygen left here and in acid, hydrogen is there. So, hydrogen and oxygen combines to form water. We can balance it and rest of the whatever there is, rest of the elements combines, they form the salt. For example, if I say HCl plus metal carbonate, if I say Na2CO3, sodium carbonate, carbonate 2, sodium 1. So, sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, what it will form, student, I already told you that plus CO2 will release 100%, plus water will release. Only this thing you will have to recall. Or Obviously carbonate is there, carbon dioxide will definitely release, right? So what left? Carbon dioxide and hydrogen has been used, left out is NaCl. So now here it is Na2Cl, we will balance it, right? So but sodium chloride is always NaCl. Clear? Need not to balance. I think it is not there in your syllabus in exam that all the reaction has to be balanced. But after balancing, because we know that sodium chloride is NaCl only. So you can't change Na2Cl like this. No, it is NaCl only. Right? So, see, HCl plus sodium carbonate, that is metal carbonate, releases salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. Simple. Now next come. If I take H2SO4. H2SO4 plus magnesium carbonate, this is again metal carbonate. Magnesium is metal. Now MgCl2 magnesium chloride, and simply you will release carbon dioxide plus water. Very important. Now here I have taken HCl. This is again an experiment setup. I think in your figure 2.3 in your book. I'm not confirmed, but these are the activities which is there in your book. Now, we will take test tube, and this is aerosol funnel from where we are dropping what? Dilute HCl, and we will take sodium carbonate, Na2CO3 in this test tube. Why we have taken calcium hydroxide here? That after experiment I will tell you. This is another, we will pass carbon dioxide in calcium hydroxide. So the solution of calcium hydroxide will be taken in the second test tube. Now, after when it is ready, dilute HCl plus sodium carbonate, when the reaction goes on, then what happens? The CO2 gas will release. CO2 gas. This is the gas releases. Water and magnesium chloride will remain in the first test tube. Now, how you will test whether the carbon dioxide gas is releasing? If it is physical test, you will bring lighted matchstick or candle. If you bring it near that gas, then what happens, student? The fire will extinguish, because carbon dioxide is a fire extinguisher and hydrogen is supporter of combustion. So hydrogen will keep burning, but here the carbon dioxide will extinguish that fire. This is the physical test. When I am talking about chemical test, then what happens? If we pass this carbon dioxide in calcium hydroxide, first chapter we have done this. Yes, so in calcium hydroxide, if we pass in it, then what happens? The lime water, that is calcium hydroxide, is also known as lime water. It turns milky white. Why milky white? Due to the formation of calcium carbonate, CaCO3. That is why. The very important question of 2 marks in what? Acid when reacts with metal. Acid when reacts with metal carbonate, which gas is released, and how will you show the chemical test of this gas? Answer: carbon dioxide gas will release, and if we pass this carbon dioxide in lime water, it turns milky white due to the formation of calcium carbonate, that is limestone. Yes, so this is again. Now next reaction. When acid, this is fifth reaction. When an acid reacts with metal bicarbonate, this is another compound. Bicarbonate, valency of 1 and metal is positive. It will again form the same product, that is salt plus CO2 plus water. There is only the difference of balancing. Only there is a difference of balancing. Otherwise, the product will remain same. Yes, student, carbonate or bicarbonate. For example, if I say HCl plus, we have taken Na2CO3 there. If I take here, it will be sodium bicarbonate. HCO3 1 and sodium positive. Cancels 1 1. So, salt, definitely CO2 plus water will release, and salt. Then, what is the product? I've written the same thing here. Wait, now what will be the product? NaCl plus CO2 plus water. And if we pass this CO2 gas in lime water, then it turns milky. So instead of that in activity, instead of sodium carbonate, we can also take sodium bicarbonate. Yes, student. So this is which reaction? Metal bicarbonate, that is fifth reaction. And next is sixth reaction, when an acid reacts with base, it forms salt plus water. Salt plus water, this is known as neutralization reaction. That means acid whenever reacts with base, it forms neutral salt plus water. Suppose if I take acid HCl plus NaOH, then we get NaCl plus water will. Clear, student? So HCl plus NaOH, OH and hydrogen forms the water. OH, 1H, 1H, H2O, and NaCl is left behind. Next, if I say H2SO4, this is another acid. H2SO4 plus MgOH whole twice. Nothing to balance, simply you know that the salt will release, that is Mg and SO4. So MgSO4 salt will release plus water. Simple. This is called neutralization reaction. Right? This is called neutralization reaction. And the seventh is acids are corrosive in nature. What is the meaning of corrosion? I already told you in chemical equation what is the, by the attack of an acid the metal corrodes. So these acid causes corrosion, can what? Spoils the metal, forming metal oxide or metal hydroxide, whatever it is there, acids are corrosive in nature. Yes? Okay, now chemical properties of base I will discuss in next lecture. Right? So what are the, how many? 7. What are the 7 properties of acid? So there are 7 properties. First is acids conducts electricity. Acid reacts with dilute. Whenever I am talking about acid, it's dilute only. Acid reacts with metal to form salt plus hydrogen gas which burns with a pop-up sound. Acid reacts with metal oxide to form salt plus water. Acid reacts with metal carbonate to form salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. Whenever the carbonate is there, always keep in mind the carbon dioxide will definitely release. Acid reacts with metal bicarbonate to form what? Salt plus CO2 plus water. Products will remain same, only there is the difference of balancing. Balancing when we'll do, there is the difference. Acids are corrosive in nature. Clear? So they corrode the metal. That is why the pickles or any sour food should not be kept in what? Acid container, metal containers, because it will form the poisonous compound when it reacts with the metal. So acid can react with that particular metal to form the corrosive substance which will what? Spoils that food, that is the pickle and all, because in pickle the acids are present, and curd, lactic acid is there. These acids will react with the container, that is the metal container, forming the poisonous salt. Yes, student, that is why these has to be kept in pickles and this curd and all, either in steel, but pickles, these are always in glass or ceramic container. Ceramic or glass container we can keep. This is very important question. Clear? Next is neutralization reaction. Why the milkman adds the baking soda to the milk? Why the milkman does this? Now, in milk, there is the lactic acid present. Right? So, lactic acid is there, and in milk, what happens? Why he is adding that baking soda? So that, yes, it will not become sour in taste, because acid is there, and after some time during summers it may what? Sours, that lactic acid can spoils that milk. So baking soda, when he is adding in it a little amount of, then what happens? The sour taste, and it will increase the setting time. That means it will prevent the souring of that milk. That is why milkman use what? Baking soda, little amount in milk. Milkman is using, so that during summers the milk, it can prevent the sourness of the milk. Right? Now let me discuss with some of the questions which is very, very important for the point of view of your board exam. Come. What is universal indicator? It is the mixture of several indicators that shows the different colors at different concentration of H positive ions. What is universal indicator? It is a mixture of several indicators which contains or changes its color at different concentration of H positive ion in the same indicator only. This is very important. Second question is for dilution of an acid. I told you whenever the acid is added to water, suppose HCl plus water, we are forming an aqueous solution. Next question. First, that is whenever we are making an aqueous solution, that is we are adding an acid with water. Question is, why the acid should be added to water? Why not water should be added to acid? What will happen? Very important question of 2 marks high order thinking. For dilution, this is the dilution we are doing, that means addition of water. In dilution, why we use what? Acid is added to water, not the water is added into acid. Why? Clear? Because whenever if we add water into the acid is definitely added to water. This is the right procedure. If we add water into acid, suppose if I say like this, water plus acid. Water in acid, if I say water in acid, then what happens? It is an exothermic reaction. If we add water into acid, the reaction will take place which is exothermic. What is that? The heat energy will release. And that heat energy which is releasing out will splash that water out and can cause what? Accidents and all. That is not so safe. That is why we should not add water to acid, always the acid, because it is in little amount, so it is adding to water and it is safe. Very important. Why acid should be added to water? Why not water should be added to acid? Because it is the second one is more exothermic reaction and which is not safe. It will splash out causing accidents. Yes. Next question is base are soluble in water. Now, whenever the base is there, it is always not necessary when the base is soluble in water. If it is soluble in water, then what happens? It becomes an alkali. Whenever the base is soluble in water, it is an alkali. Now the question is, justify the statement all alkalis are bases and all alkalis are bases or all the bases are alkali. No. Bases are not alkali. It is not necessary whether that particular base is soluble in water or not. But alkali, definitely it is forming from base, because base when soluble in water, it always forms alkali. So alkali is always made up of base. So alkalis are definitely basic in nature, but it is not necessary that all the bases are soluble in water. Right? So this is very important question again. Next is why we should not take dry HCl, because why dry HCl do not conduct electricity. Whenever we are passing current, the dry HCl will not release H positive ion. Whenever the ions are releasing, either it is in paste form or it is in aqueous solution. I already explained in a previous video that whenever the reaction takes place, always it is in the aqueous solution form. So dry acid will never conduct electricity. Next is, yes, now all the compounds containing hydrogen are acid or not. Suppose if I say the compound ethanol, alcohol, this is alcohol, and or C6H12O6, yes student, this is the formula of glucose. Now here the hydrogen is present, here the hydrogen is present. Is this acid? If it is an acid, then why we are consuming glucose and why the people are consuming alcohol? So that means all the hydrogen containing compounds are not acid. Those which are releasing H positive ions on passing current, then only they are said to be an acid. Clear? So ethanol, this is alcohol, and glucose. Glucose do not release H positive ions or not dissociate into H positive ions when current is passed. That is why they are not categorized as an acid. Clear students? Next is, yes, rainwater or tap water conducts electricity, but distilled water do not. These are all reasoning question comes. Because rainwater or the tap water, they contain a little amount of hydrogen ions in it. That's why they can conduct electricity. But if I'm talking about distilled water, it will not, because it is a pure water. It will not conduct electricity because positive ions is not there. Okay, done. So this is how I have explained all this today. Yes, student, next pH value and the characteristic chemical nature of base. Okay, now 10th class, I hope you are all understanding. Please comment and subscribe. Thank you so much, student. Thank you. God bless you all.